Are you ready, everybody? Okay. Welcome to the board meeting of August 9th. Before we begin, I did want to say Supervisor Bushnell is unfortunately absent today. She had a family emergency, so she'd really like to be here. She may be watching this or listening to it, but unfortunately she can't be with us in person. So with that, everyone please join me in saluting the flag. All right, so that takes care of roll call two, saying one of us is missing and the other four are here. I'd like to ask our Assistant CAO, Clower, if we have any modifications to the agenda.
Thank you, Chair Bass. Yes, we have 3 items being pulled. D3 and D5 are being pulled for discussion. D10 is being pulled for further review and will come back next week.
All right, so is there a motion to approve the consent calendar with the modifications made of D3 and D5 being pulled for the discussion and D10 coming back next week?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and we will go to, I'll go to the audience first. If you're if you're watching us at home and you wish to comment on the consent calendar, be sure to press *9 now so that we know you want to comment. We will go to those in the audience first. And is there anyone here in the audience that would like to comment on any of the consent calendar items that have not been pulled? All right, not seeing anyone. And Nikki, do we have anybody on the phone?
No, Madam Chair, we have nobody on the line.
All right, so we'll go back to the board. Any comments or Supervisor Madrone?
Yes, I wanted to take this opportunity to thank Gary Reinierson for 32 years of service on the Forestry Advisory Committee. 32 years, folks, right? I mean, talk about commitment. So really very appreciative of that. Gary's retiring, and I wish him all the best in his retirement. And Aaron Kelly, professor from Humboldt State, a current practitioner, is going to be filling that seat. So I want to thank Aaron for stepping up for that. And also there's numerous folks that are being honored for their service on the Fire Safe Council, but perhaps that's something else we've got with letters of appreciation, I believe. So.
All right, thank you. And I do believe Gary Rainierson's item has been pulled as well, so, which is fine. That was a last minute adjustment, so no worries. Anyone else? Supervisor Bohn?
Yeah, we just mentioned I was going to do the same thing as Gary. Gary and I wrestled against each other in high school when he was up in Hoopah and have been friends. And I talked to him this weekend, and he might take an at-large position someday back on the board. He was still interested. And so I'm not sure, but he did 32 years. He was who I went to for forestry issues because he was the man to talk to. He served on the Board of Forestry for 12 years, and I think Virginia leaned on him quite a bit. He was just a man of knowledge, and he was always willing to share. So I do wish him well in his retirement. Got to go to his retirement party. That was fun. But, yeah. So, again, and you're right, Steve, 32 years to commit to anything is pretty good and we pay those guys quite a bit of money, so.
So technically, we didn't really need to pull that item, apparently. But I think we already have, so we'll just move forward with it.
Well, I just wanted to note that there's another thing that Supervisor Bohn and I have in common. I was a varsity wrestler in high school myself, so we'll hopefully not get wrestling here.
Yeah, we'll try not to wrestle here. All right, any comments from the board on any of the other items that are on the consent calendar still?
So are we
Supervisor
moving
Wilson?
that back onto the consent calendar now or not?
You know, yeah, why not? Is that legal? Okay, the county council, is there any problem with that, considering this is like, yeah. It's,
That should be fine.
thank you, all right.
Thanks, I
Yes, let's do
appreciate that. So since that's been moved back on the consent calendar, I want to thank Gary for his years of service, but I also want to thank him kind of really specifically about being on the forefront of actually providing what is a pretty amazing opportunities for the public to access lands, large private holdings through these arrangements that that he and others put together with relationships to the local mountain bike clubs and now the equestrian clubs, and really getting through some of the sticky parts of how we can access those places, especially as local population. And I just want to thank him for that, because there is a lot of use and of those spaces and enjoyment from many people that wouldn't happen if he and others had not really done the hard work of making those arrangements, and I really appreciate that.
All right.
Yeah, I have a fairly good holding out around Green Diamond property, and they've been very good about, the McKay Forest. They worked with us back 10 years ago, 12, 15 years ago, working land, but we're getting the McKay Forest. And you got to thank, we have to thank Green Diamond. They've been a great partner for years and years and a great employer, and that's who Gary got his lead from. So I appreciate that. And yeah, the bikes and the horse love it, especially the Redwood Acres loves it, and I know the bike club loves it.
And one of the other things that Green Diamond's doing right now, especially with all this increased fire risk, they have a lot of the properties that are just east of West Haven, McKinleyville, Eureka, and they're working with communities to develop emergency access, ingress and egress routes, which is so critical on some of these one-way roads. The only way out, if the fire starts below you, is through Green Diamond. So I want to thank them for their stepping up and really helping, working with their neighbors in that way. So many different ways.
Can I apologize for my computer going off? It keeps telling me my iLegislate will not launch. So I just to let you know, we'll have to do a roll call vote on this one, please.
I'm sure with the way this morning's going, we're going to do roll call from everything.
I'm going to start my computer over.
All right, so Supervisor Bohn? Supervisor Wilson?
Yes.
Supervisor Bass?
Yes.
And Supervisor Madrone?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 4-0.
All right, so then we'll move on to the items pulled by consent. The first one is D3. Is it correct? D3, Supervisor Bohn? That was who's then D5. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to do this. We haven't done it for a couple of years, but they're back roaring and going, and we actually had a fair last year. But I want to, Rich and Andy, you guys want to come up here? And this is a proclamation for the Humboldt County Fair. That's all our fairs, all the districts, everything else. I'm just fortunate to have it in my district. I read the proclamation. Whereas the Humboldt County Fair was established in 1896 and has a long and unwavering history in Humboldt County, and whereas this year marks the 126th anniversary of the Humboldt County Fair, opening on August 18th and running through August 28th, 2022, with the theme being, "There is no time like fair time." Whereas each year the Humboldt County Fair Association provides educational, entertainment, and recreational opportunities for the general public while preserving and promoting the agricultural heritage of California's North Coast by showcasing the talents and interests, character, and achievements of the residents of Humboldt County, especially our FFA 4-H independent animal in the auction. Whereas the Humboldt County Fair provides a variety of foods, crafts, festivities, music, horse racing, and entertainment for all ages. Whereas over the years, Humboldt County Fair has had significant economic, educational, social, and cultural impacts in the county, ranging from spending by attendees and businesses to nonprofit fundraising, job creation, and tax revenues, to name a few. Whereas the Humboldt County Fair Association operates the fairgrounds and conducts the annual fair on behalf of the whole county, and whereas the Humboldt County Fair embodies community spirit and highlights the diversity of Humboldt County, now therefore the Board of Supervisors of the County of Humboldt proclaim August 18th through August 28th as Humboldt County Fair Days in the town of Ferndale, and encourages the citizens of Humboldt County to visit and partake in this long-standing tradition. I move the proclamation.
Second.
All right, would you like to deliver that? Or would you like? Yeah.
Take a picture.
Sure, if you've got us. Anyone want? He wants a picture. Supervisor Bohn wants a picture. Can some? Come on, Mattson. No, I'm sorry. No, not you.
Karen will do it. Here you go. Do it this way.
Okay, act natural.
Right, yes, please, do say a few words.
Do have some schedules I'd like to hand out to supervisors before we can.
Actually, if you just hand it to her, she'll hand them all over to us. That just makes it easier. Thank you. And you can tell us more.
Well, thank you, and on behalf of the Humboldt County Fair Association, I want to thank all the supervisors and supporters, especially our sponsors, from businesses to individual sponsors over the last several months. We've had a number of in-kind sponsorships and cash donations, and as my name is Rich Salachi, and I've took over the position of fair manager back in January, and the community support and the sponsorships that have come through have really been almost overwhelming with the community support that comes through to support the fairgrounds and the Fair Association, especially what we're going to be doing starting August 19th. I passed the list out, so it's about time to get excited and talk to the community about what to expect when we're going to get started here just a week from Thursday. Probably the important days to notice, both Thursdays, the 18th and then the following Thursday, are going to be free kids, free admission to all young people under 13. The first Friday, which is the 19th, is our free admission. That's our senior day if you're 62 and over. All right, Rex, you get your free day that day. As you look at the list of entertainment, I think there's a number of things to get kind of excited about, and we're looking at producing a fair that, you know, for an inexpensive cost of admission, we really wanted to have the best entertainment that our budget could afford. And if you look at the daily entertainment, there's going to be 3 different acts that go on during the fair, where we have a reptile adventure with a 200-year-old alligator and a giant python and things that it's an interactive experience, and that's going to be there throughout the whole day, throughout the whole series of the fair. Guy that juggles chainsaws and supposed to be he's a comic juggler, and how you do that while you're doing chainsaws, I don't know. He'll be an act to see. One I'm excited to see about is a herd of pink poodles that apparently drive a little Rolls-Royce golf cart around the fairgrounds, and we had to build a ramp for them, so I'm excited to see how they're going to get up on the main stage. Musical entertainment every night of the fairground once those days are once the day acts are over. And if you look down the list, and I'm going to encourage everybody to look at the papers and look at the list of entertainment acts and musical acts that we have every night at the fairgrounds, especially on the weekends. There's going to be some names you recognize, local bands, and then some bigger names as we get towards the end of the week. The Fair Association, the board members are excited about it. We're excited to be back in full swing of what a fair should be. Invite the community to come out and see us. Of course, the same 6 days of horse racing, both weekends, Humboldt County tradition, and we know we're going to see some big turnouts there. Guy Fieri is going to be there again. Wednesday, the 24th, is his first responder luncheon. And if you are a first responder in the county, please come visit us. It's free admission to the fair for you. And Guy will be providing lunch for you between 11 and 1. And then his chili cook-off is going to be that afternoon. So that Wednesday, the 24th, is going to be a very big day. Come and see Guy and all the entertainment that he brings. And I think he'll be around the fairgrounds for the next couple days after that. So all the big events you've always expected to see, and then hopefully something that's a little bit different and new and fresh as we come out of COVID. Thank you to everybody. We sure appreciate it. And thanks for giving us this time.
You bet. And I want to let everybody know that Rich has brought you guys, all of us, VIP passes.
Ooh, thank you.
This means you can get in, run around, and do whatever you want.
I was going to think,
Mike,
talk about that.
Mike's,
Go ahead. All yours.
sorry, Andy.
No, it's all.
Mike's daughter has a little jar on the wall that she saved money for the fair, I think he said a couple years ago, so. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'd like to see you guys use those. I know that there's a couple people that always come down, but we'd love to see all 5 of you guys show up and see that everybody's district is represented, because it is the county fair. That'll grant you access for you and a guest into the fair and also into the VIP room when that's running the 6 days of horse racing to mingle with different people. And also want to thank, our staff. Everybody pretty much started fresh in January, and the grounds look really good. I mean, as far as the grounds and how things are going, we're very far ahead of where we've been the past few years, which when they just started in January, that's a really good sign for things moving forward. It means I haven't been in here since. I want to thank you guys all personally for the $200,000 last year. You know, it's really helping make the grounds better and make things better and allowing us to put on a successful fair for everyone in Humboldt County. So thank you guys. I want to thank staff, and hopefully everybody in the community comes out and supports us so we can continue on for another 126 years.
That's Andy Titus, the Fair Board volunteer.
All right.
Head of the board.
Well, I just wanted to know if Supervisor Bohn can ride a camel again. That was my favorite one. I got to be there. Those were some pretty fun adventures. That was,
Yeah.
I'll never forget that
Well, I'll
sight.
tell you, if you guys would all volunteer to do it, maybe we'll get a dunk tank and we can get you guys all out in front of the grandstands and
The
do
dunk
that.
tank is coming.
done
They were
that
here
many times.
We'll do a
yesterday
dunk
asking
tank.
me if I wanted to be a donkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad.
I want to, and you mentioned the economics, and I think the number that's always thrown around is $6 to $7 million into the county. But I think in 2019, 2020, State Board of Equalization passed a law that you get, is it 0.5%? Yes. 0.5% of all sales tax made on the fairgrounds goes to the host fair, Redwood Acres, you know. So that was passed by CDFA and the State Board of Equalization, and I think the fair share last year was, I believe, $31,000. That's 0.5% to the fair. Now you do the math and figure out how much economics that brings to the area. And that was during the COVID year, where the fair was great last year, but it was down because we were still in the throes of COVID. I mean, we actually thought about shutting the fair down halfway through. So, I mean, the fair's doing great. I know Tom Mattson has a huge interest in this because we have 68 acres that the fairground sits on that belong to Humboldt County. And we've had a great partnership for 126 years with the Fair Board and the Volunteer Fair Board. And it's worked out really well. We were lucky to get Rich retired from Cal Poly, came back up here, married to a local gal, so she brought him home, and he's running the fair and doing a great job. And I'm pretty excited about what's going to be happening and what has been happening. So thanks, you guys. We'll see you next week for sure.
All right,
a lot.
All right, well, we'll go to public comment now on this item. Is there anyone in the audience who cares to comment who's with us in person? All right, seeing none, Nikki, since I still can't get on iLegislate, can you?
Are we allowed to comment on this at all?
Yeah.
Yes, I was just going to ask if I was going to go to public comment, then come back to you. If that's, would you like to comment now?
Sure.
Sure, go ahead. If you're on the phone and if you're watching us, now's a great time to press *9 in case you want to comment.
I just want to, first of all, thanks for the hard work on this, but this is actually the best program I've seen you guys put out. That's like the clearest, best thing to put on the refrigerator. So if you make sure that this is out there, because this is actually really good. This will be very helpful for people who want to visit, and it's very clear on what is happening on what day. And I just thought that the guy with the chainsaw was you. I thought that was you on here. I thought that was you, but it's not you. Is that what you're saying?
It might be on August 29th.
Okay, at the end.
The picture,
I think the guy-
does kind of look like you.
The guy in the picture's named Stubby.
Yeah.
And I think due reward, maybe Rich was going to say something. He's had great help from Melissa Sanderson from the North Coast Journal. Has been side by side with the advertising, with helping him without self-serving herself, just to get it out there in the hometown store in Ferndale and the Ferndale Merchant. So I think that's why we're seeing some of this quality that we're seeing.
I guess if it's all right, while you brought that up, Melissa's been tremendous with publications and working with the Guy Fieri Day, and she's opened up the hometown store to assist our new staff with selling tickets. So all of the over-the-counter, pre-sale tickets have all been going through her store at the hometown store, which was the old Tri-Counties Bank right there, right in the center of Ferndale on Main Street. So anybody those pre-sale tickets are going to be over the counter up until Tuesday of next week, prior to the fair. So that's been a tremendous help to us to allow us to work on fair strategies and having her sell the tickets out of her shop. So that's worked out very well. So thank you for bringing that up.
Mike brought it up.
Any other comments from the board? Is there anyone on the phone?
Yes, Madam Chair, the first caller I have is 7454.
All right, 7454. Press star 6 to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me, Virginia?
Yes.
Oh, that was me. I muted him on
Wait.
accident.
Hold on.
Might as well continue.
Virginia, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Just so you know, earlier in the meeting, I had two phones with my hand raised and they didn't come through. So that's why you didn't have public comment earlier during the meeting. You had some technological problem there, apparently. Of course, the fair is wonderful. I strongly support what you're doing here in the county's money-making thing and everything that's going on. I guess you have to declare those special VIP passes are probably worth quite a bit. But I did want to let you know that you didn't have public participation earlier in the meeting because you had technological problems. So now we're back on. I'm glad to have a chance to comment. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Is there anyone else on the phone?
No, Madam Chair, that's it.
That's it? All right. So we'll go to those in the audience. Anyone else? No, we're good. I think we're ready to vote. And can we have a roll call vote, please?
Supervisor Wilson, did you second that motion?
I did.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Supervisor Madrone,
Yes.
Supervisor Wilson,
Yes.
Supervisor Bass,
Yes.
and Supervisor Bohn. Yes, please. Thank you. Motion passes 4-0.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
All right, thank you. So I think I see our CAO staff coming in here for the next item, so we apparently believe we can get that in before the 9:30 time set, or fairly closely. So the next item does come to us from the clerk of the board, and it's regarding at-large appointments to the Forest Review Committee. Tracy.
Good morning. This won't take your 5 minutes, so we're good. I just want to let the board know that on the June 28th meeting, the board was notified that there was an at-large vacancy on the Forestry Review Committee. This was due to the term expiration for the at-large member, Chris Carroll. At the time, I also notified you that we had another vacancy for an at-large member. We collected some applications. Chris Carroll would like to be reappointed if that's the board's consideration. And then the second vacancy, I had an application from Mr. Mike Lamori, who's also a forester. It is one of the requirements, so it's up to the board to determine if you would like to make those appointments.
Thank you. Supervisor Bohn?
I make a motion that we make those appointments, and with the current change with Aaron Kelly, to keep in mind, it would probably be nice to have someone to see if there's interest from Green Diamond, which I know there is on one of the future openings because they do so much, as was stated earlier. So, but the two Michael Amore's with Sierra Pacific Industries and Chris is a private forester, and I think that's a good mix.
Second the motion, and I would also say this is fantastic. This will be the first time in years that we'll have a full board or a full advisory committee. They've been short one for 3 or 4 years, and that's created a problem with quorum sometimes. So this is fantastic. Appreciate them stepping up.
All right. I'll go to the public comment. If you're on the phone, please press star 9 if you wish to comment, but we'll go to those in the audience first. Is there anyone here that wants to comment on this item? All right, seeing none, we will go to those on the phone. And Nikki?
Thank you. Yes, we have caller 7454.
All right, press star 6 to unmute.
Yeah, we're still working, I assume, Virginia. I did look through those applications. We're very lucky. These seem to be extremely qualified people. Of course, the public is aware they cannot vet these people. We can't talk to them because their phone numbers are blocked out? And also, are there people that are recommending them to be in the position? So I find that a little bit interesting that the public's precluded as far as transparency, as far as vetting these people. But they were both extremely qualified, strongly support. And I wish to thank them for serving, because a lot of these people, they serve, of course, for nothing. And both seem like they're exceptional. Thanks for the opportunity to speak.
All right, thank you. Any other hands up, Nikki?
No, Madam Chair.
All right, we'll go back to the board. Supervisor Bohn?
Yeah, I talked to Mike this weekend and Chris, and they're both appreciative for doing this. And as Supervisor Madrone said, we'll have a full complement. And if the public is worried, we vet these pretty well. So it's our job.
All right. Any other supervisor comments? Great. May we please have a roll call vote?
Sorry about that. Hold on. I'm trying to get to where I can get.
So I would just like to remind the board that we do keep all current applications on file for 1 year. So if we do get other applications that come in, we'll hold on to those. And we do redact personal phone numbers and personal address, but we always leave email addresses so that public can reach out to them via email. That's just a standard policy that we have at the clerk of the board's office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm ready now. Supervisor Bohn?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilson?
Affirmative.
Supervisor Madrone?
Yes, and thank you, staff, for
Supervisor
your work
Bass.
on this.
I apologize.
Sorry.
And
Yeah.
Supervisor Bass?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 4-0.
All right. Thank you. Perfect timing. So that takes us to our 9:30 time set. That is for, well, this, Alicia's missing. I don't know. She might be, if she's watching this at home, it's like, I don't know, things are working pretty on time here today. So it's so hard to guess. So, so I'd like to go out to our county council, deputy county council. Natalie, would you tell us what the 9:30 time set is?
Thank you, Chair Bass. The 9:30 time set is to meet in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6 to review the county's position and instruct its designated labor negotiator.
All right, thank you. So we will go to public comment on that. Is there anyone here in person that was just a comment on that? All right, seeing none. Is there anyone on the phone?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have 7454.
All right, well, there you go. Anyone other than that we've got, or just that one?
Just that one.
All right, please press *6 to unmute.
Well, I'm impressed that you are meeting your time certains. I always, this same group of people comes up continually. It'd be nice if we had a little more detail in the agenda as far as what was being discussed. Is this just some small change in contract, or are you actually negotiating the overall contract for all these people? I did want to also point out that if you are negotiating wages, it has appointed department heads, but it, of course, does not have, and confidential employees does not have elected department heads, nor the supervisors, and we haven't seen a raise package coming through for them, except for John Ford got a personal one there. So that's my comment on this. And the other question is, I assume that you won't be back until 11 a.m. for your other closed session item. Can we confirm or deny that one? Items. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And since there's no commenters, we'll go back to the board. Yes, we will be back at 11 o'clock to read those into the record and then go back into closed session again. So with that, we will be back here at 11 o'clock to then go back into closed session. No, because we had the 9:30 time set. I mean, I thought we had to read them in at 11 so people could actually comment then. Okay. All right. Thank you. Ready? Okay, so we're here to go back. We have multiple 11 o'clock time sets. So I'd like to ask our county council representative to brief us on those.
Thank you, Chair Bass. There are a number of them, so please bear with me. It is the intent of the Board of Supervisors to meet In closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, Subdivision D, in the following cases. White Circle Commerce LLC versus County of Humboldt. That's case number CV 2000513 and CV 2000623. The case of OB v. County of Humboldt, case number CV 2200748. There are two matters involving the Humboldt County mental health fiscal period ending July 30th, 2011 and 2012 with the Department of Healthcare Services. And there's the case of Lost Coast Outpost versus County of Humboldt et al. That's case number CV 2200607. And Billy Rutherford versus the County of Humboldt et al. Case number 1:21-CV-02750-RMI. And then it's the intent of the board to meet in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.5 and 54957 to consider the public employee appointment for the position of county surveyor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I don't see anyone in the audience wishing to comment on an item, so we'll go to those on the phone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have caller 7454.
All right, 7454. Press star 6.
Virginia, can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, welcome back. It's amazing. Let's see, we have, I think, 6 things regarding litigation on here. The lawsuits seem to be stacking up. Found that, I guess the surveyor, I'm glad you're taking a good long time to get it. I think what is the 5th or 6th time the appointment for county surveyor has been on there. Hopefully that will happen today. I think you had all kinds of interviews and things for that one. I got a kick out of number 3 there. It's a existing litigation of OB, and I always think of Obi-Wan Kenobi, so I don't know. Has Rex been doing an improper Darth Vader imitation and they're suing the county? So that's an interesting one there. I have concerns. You know, we have these financial periods ending quite a long time ago, June 30th, 2011, June 30th, 2012, where the California Department of Health Care Services Office of Administration hearings and appeal case. And are these something to do with some improper funding or improper use of funds? So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and get some group or somebody to go ahead and just like, I don't know what you know, but Redheaded Black Belt had an exceptionally nice thing about your meeting today, but I think the details might be presented by them or somebody else as far as what all these cases involve and have copies of the cases so everybody can see where the government is in all this litigation that's going on. So anyway, thank you for my opportunity to speak on this one. And just as far as clarity, we don't have anything else and are back at 1:30 for public comment on non-agendized items. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I guess off I go at least.
All right, thank you. And yes, that's correct. So is there anyone else with their hand up? All
No,
right,
Madam Chair.
So we will adjourn to closed session. Yes? No.
We do the county surveyor first since they're here.
I don't think she's going to care.
Fully aware, but we do them first and we're sitting here. I thought I'd say why they're here rather than before the Indian went out to home. What you trying to say? What? Yeah.
welcome. Whoa, hello. And some might notice that we are missing Supervisor Wilson now also. He had to take off to get somewhere. He needs to go to Coastal Commission. And Supervisor Bushnell is missing today because a family emergency. So it's not that they don't want to be here, they just have a few other things. So at this time, I would like to ask our county counsel to report out of closed session.
Thank you, Chair Bass. There are 2 items to report out on. For item K3, the board voted 4-0 with Supervisor Bushnell absent to authorize the risk manager to enter into an agreement with the Mitchell Law Firm for defense of the action. And then for item K7, the board voted 4-0 with Supervisor Bushnell absent to authorize the Office of County Counsel to defend the lawsuit. And there is nothing reportable for the other items.
All right, thank you. And then what I will also say is, I know many can't even talk today. A lot of and people who are here today were going to comment on an item they did not realize was on the agenda earlier, so they will be speaking under public comment. But folks from SEIU, I will be careful to try to let you know next time when it's actually on the agenda, so we have you talking at the right period of time. So we'll go to this, and if you're at home listening or watching and you want to make comment, press star 9, and so we know you are there. So our first speaker is Antoinette Skiles, followed by Dina. Is that close? Okay, and we have the typical 3 minutes. Cool. You are on.
Okay, I'm just listening to myself, I suppose. Antoinette Skiles, SEIU Local 2015. And this is Carol. And I am speaking for all the IHSS workers out there. I am representing every single one of them that we deserve a little higher pay here because the work we do is so needed right now. If nothing else, I mean, everywhere I turn, people needs help, and you know, I'm like, yeah, you do, and I wish I could have 3 of me there. You know, there's not 3 of me there to fulfill all the work needed out there. It would help that we had a decent pay raise. Sorry for my phone. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Antoinette. Those phones happen to go off at the worst times every once in a while. I think we have Dina. Is that the second person who signed up? Could be Dora. I couldn't, the E, I can see the D, the N, and the A, so I was guessing. Dora, welcome.
Hi, mi nombre es Dora García y ella me va a interpretar.
And I'm going to translate for her.
Yo estoy aquí porque ya tengo 3 años, como 3 años trabajando para HSS.
I am here. I have been working for the IHSS program for the last 2 years.
Y me gusta mucho trabajar para ellos porque pues es un trabajo muy importante porque las personas están muy contentas con mi trabajo.
I really enjoy working under the IHSS program. The people that I care for are very pleased with my work.
Y ahora ya no quiero dejarlos porque me duele dejarlos e irme a otro lugar a trabajar.
And now I don't want to quit because it hurts me to leave these folks to go work elsewhere.
Pero todo está bien, solo que lo que ganamos es muy poquito y además no tenemos aseguranza y pues creo que es momento de que nos den un aumento.
Everything is fine except for our low wages and the fact that we also don't have health insurance. I think it's time.
De que nos den un aumento.
I think it's time that we get a wage increase.
Pienso que sí se puede porque aquí en Humboldt hay mucho dinero y pues estas personas están solitas.
I know it's possible. I know that Humboldt County has a lot of money, and you need to consider that these folks that we care for, a lot of them are lonely folks that don't have, that are lonely.
Ellos están muy solitos y pues no hay quien los lleve al doctor, no hay quien les vaya a comprar su comida, nada, están ahí, su casa sucia, so está...
These folks are very lonely and they don't depend on anybody else to take them shopping, to take them to the stores, and to clean their homes.
So, yo creo que es muy importante que estas personas estén protegidas.
I think it's very important that these folks be taken care of and be protected.
Es todo, gracias.
This is it. I thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Excuse me. Thank you. And next we have Hank, followed by Mr. Wilson, and then Genevieve. So Hank's going first. Charles, Hank is going first. You're next. Hank is, no, you sit down first, Mr. Wilson. Thanks. You're next. Hank's first.
Sorry, that's okay. No problem.
Who's on first? You know, what's on second? Welcome, Hank.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Hank Milstein. I live in Eureka. And why am I here? I'm not an IHSS worker, but I'm very concerned about the issue and how they're treated because many years ago now, I had long-term caregivers working with my parents. And I saw the immense difference that made in my parents' lives when they were elderly and really needed some help around their home to be able to stay at home and enjoy as much dignity as they could. It made a huge difference in how my parents were able to function and live those last few years of their lives. So I'll admit I've got a soft spot for people who do this kind of work. But I wanted to share one thing that comes out of my observation of how my parents were dealt with by their caregivers, which I'm sure is true here. Some people think that being a caregiver is something that you undertake only if you're just desperate, you don't have any skills, you just kind of fall into it because that's the only thing you can do. That's dead wrong from my observation, not only of my parents' situation, but other people I know who have been beneficiaries of long-term caregivers. And being a good caregiver requires a lot of skill, a lot of patience, as much, I think, as any other profession. So I think it's really sad to see how meager their pay is. I understand only 50 cents over the minimum wage, and lack of health insurance, which of course is an issue for many people. I think that the least we owe to these people who make such a difference for our elderly and disabled population, the least we can do is give them a fair contract. So thank you very much, and I hope you will act positively on this.
Right. Excuse me. Thank you, Hank. Welcome, Charles.
Hope you'll excuse me. The M1 rifles are. When I was in the Army, when I went in, the TVs were these cathode ray tube glass jobs, and the 16,000 cycle per second whine on them used to drive me nuts. The Army cured me of that, so I don't hear any of that stuff anymore. Anyway, my name is Charles Wilson. I'm getting old, and I think of some people, I think of myself as old and trusting. Some people say I'm just naive and gullible. Now, I got this piece of paper the other day from the Independent, and they were talking about the COVID test positivity on the rise in Humboldt, and they talk about each time an individual gets the COVID, they get more, each time they get reinfected, they get more serious diseases. Now, they never ever really say specifically in there that a lot of these people that are getting reinfected are the ones that have been vaccinated. I mean, here we have Kamala and we have Biden. Some say Fauci. I've been trying to verify that. But, you know, they had the 4 shots and everything, and they're getting the COVID. And, of course, and on this thing here, they say, we will continue to generate these variants, in other words, these different mutations. They like to call them variants now instead of mutations, until people are masked and immunized. And I'm gullible up to a point. But I'm not a dumb person. I've been doing environmental impact reports. I've been doing all these technical things for umpteen years. And when I read these kind of things, here I went through the war, the last declared war, when Goebbels and Hitler were running around. I haven't heard the term, the big lie, for all these years, and I still haven't heard it. And I think these kind of things, you lose credibility in government, just like in the dollar says, in God we trust. It really says, in government we trust. And
All right.
you can only
Thank
do
you,
it so
Charles.
far. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And then we've got Genevieve, and if you are watching and you wish to make comment, you should press *9 now, so we know you're there.
Oh, this is Genevieve Wilson. Like, this is our tyranny under attack. So I'm going to sing you a song that usually I don't have time to end. So anyway, don't cry for me, America. I do my best to keep you from tyranny and hatred through persistent love and courage. Then life, liberty, and freedom to pursue happiness will be here forever and ever. I promise you, dear, live and follow natural law. Love and freedom for all. Tyranny will fail and love will prevail if all the patriots united and combined. Hallelujah. It's very important because my point, for the beginning of the year, I'll just share information that I know, talk to people. Now we all worry about the vaccine, so I talk to people. So grocery outlet, the clerk say, no talking about vaccine. So they ban us from going there. Now this is a year later. About a week ago, I went to buy their seeded watermelon. They're real good. Seeded, it's only 39 cents, half from the Eureka health food store. So after I finished, she said, you are being banned, 86. I said, why? Because a year ago, you gave him the flyer. I'm just trying to help people. If they want to do it, right? So anyway, I'm banned. I know there's private property. It's no sense to fight with them to get the police, and you just have to go. My point is just unfair. And today I listened to a nurse, a registered nurse. She said she wished she hasn't taken the shot because she got neuropathy and she cannot work, she's in pain. And other people, a long time before they start the vaccine, they stay away from the unvaccinated people. But right now, everywhere have problem. Another father said her son had pericarditis, so she went to confront the health person. She said, how come you don't tell me the fact? You just say, okay, they only have a sore arm. They don't expose it. You should tell anybody should be exposed what happened to popular. I have the same problem. I went to McKinleyville a year ago. I talked to a parent. The parent say, don't scare my kids. Why are you scaring your kids? And the pericarditis lasts forever. I mean, people can die. So I'm just saying that we need to watch out. And tyranny, we want to fight. Freedom, bring us happiness. Thank you.
All right, excuse me, thank you. So we'll go to those on the phone. I'm not seeing hands up. Why, how come?
I'm not sure why.
How many do we have? It said
We
0.
have 2, Madam Chair. The first one is 7454, and then we go to 0116.
All right, 7454. Let's press *6 to unmute.
Virginia, I hope you can hear me. Hope you sounds like you had something happen in closed session. I again would always support the in-home health care workers. Your other staff got 832 raises and 1032, I think, the raises I saw go through. They should be put on the same equity thing with inflation goes. Those 3 years could actually be possibly 7 and 8% in the hole as far as their buying power. So I will always stand behind them. They work hard and they deserve a raise, the same as the rest of the county staff. I did want to bring forward something of great concern. At a meeting here in Blue Lake, I spoke to Mike McGuire, and I suggested that he have Steve Madrone lead his trail project out there, the Great Redwood Trail. And he didn't listen, as far as I can tell. So there seems to be some pretty bad karma going on between Mike McGuire and Mike Wilson and Jason Lyles and the crew that's putting that together. It appears that years ago, and I think Steve might even worked on these projects, possibly, but Mitch Stogner, who was the executive director of the NCRA, failed to cross his T's and dot his I's. And there were 2 large sections of trestle that were taken out, one at Woodman Creek and the other one at Bridge Creek down south. And at the time, my friend, Mr. Williams, who has passed on now, who had the right to the railroad there, should he desire, suggested they put up a $10 million bond for one of the 2. And so if I look at what happened there's probably $30 million at least. And due to the gross negligence of the staff, I guess maybe their counsel and Mitch Stogner, they never got a hold of the Surface Transportation Board and got permission to remove that. And of course, the Surface Transportation Board probably is not very happy with what happened there. In fact, probably extremely unhappy with what happened there, because the agenda of the NCRA was to maintain the railroad and have its best chance of viability in the future, and they failed that. And so I could potentially see that the NCRA or its Great Redwood Trail or whatever thing there may lose their ability to control that asset, and that may be turned over to somebody else. I don't know who would take that. We do have service up here by the train system that comes out of there, by bus service and things. Somebody else probably will end up with that, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that progresses. So for those of you who are on the NCRA or its subsequent name there, you may wish to talk to your legal counsel to find out how you can unmess up a really messed up situation and repair a very broken relationship with the Surface Transportation Board, who does control what's actually going to happen with that particular California asset. Thank you for my opportunity to speak today.
All right, thank you. And you said we have 0116 is next? And
Yes, Madam Chair.
okay. Ash, press *6 just to make sure.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Yes, this is Ash Teeter, Humboldt Freedom Coalition, HumboldtFC.com. Just wanted to talk a little on the ongoing, COVID emergency. It's looming in the background to secure funding in the county. But one thing that popped up in Chicago was the North Shore University had to pay out $10.3 million in a COVID vaccine lawsuit for enforcing the mandates on their workers. And I think it was recently I was talking to Kim Burgell, Eureka City Council. She was saying that the only reason the Eureka City Council's vaccine mandate is still in place is because of the county and the DHHS is holding the COVID emergency up. And with that, I'd also like to play this right here.
It is illegal to make anybody participate in an experimental program using coercion. That is, in fact, how in U.S. law, we actually embrace in U.S. law the Nuremberg Code. So coercion is illegal, and we need to call it coercion. We don't want to call it leverage. We don't want to call it pressure. We want to call it the illegal act that it is. It's coercion. And that becomes important because under 18 U.S. Code, Section 2331, and then subsection 802, inside of the definition of domestic terrorism is any time a U.S. citizen or a government in the U.S. is forced to do something that it would not otherwise do, that's also not only coercion, but domestic terrorism. Now, this conversation and every other conversation, I encourage people to, in fact, take those two laws, and when they are met with somebody telling them they're supposed to get the shot, actually ask the person and record this. Use your phone, use a recording device, record the conversation, and ask if they are in fact violating 21 Code of Federal Regulations, Section 50.23 and 24. Are you interested in doing a civil violation of the law? And if they say yes, they're cool with that, then say, are you willing to violate 18 U.S. Code Section 2331, which says that it is illegal to coerce the population, and that is a felony, and the felony has a 99-year prison term with it. And so here's the problem. We need to arm ourselves as a big community to not only do what we've done, and by the way, kudos to everyone who has done the resistance up until now, but now we have to arm ourselves with the very weapons they're using and throw them back. I always say the metaphor for me is if somebody throws a hand grenade at you, pick it up, pull the pin out, and throw it back. They've given you a hand grenade, use it. What we need to be doing is we need to be informing ourselves, and most recently, this would be a punchline.
All right, thank you. And Nikki, do you have anyone else?
No, Madam Chair, we have no more callers.
All right, so we'll go back to the board, and I think our work is done for today. So we'll just say we're adjourned.